Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
The other shoe drops on Democratic State Rep Jewel Jones. He's been stripped of his committee seats at the State House in Lansing.
And a Detroit police officer arrested in the front seat of a stolen car.
He's calling it politically motivated character assassination. State Representative Steve Marino blasting allegations of domestic abuse made by another state lawmaker. All coming up, but we're going to start things off at 5 in Handy Township near Fowlerville. Take a look at live pictures from Sky 4 where a small plane had to make an emergency landing in a field. This is Layton Road near Fowlerville Road. Officials fortunately tell us there are no injuries to report, but the FAA is en route to the scene. As we work to learn more on exactly what happened, what brought the plane down, we will continue to update the story as we can.
Also here at 5, after being accused of domestic abuse by fellow state Rep Mar Moreno, and State Representative Steve Marino speaking out tonight as Michigan State Police investigate those claims.
Mar McDonald live downtown. Mar Moreno has had all of his committee assignments taken away as he goes through this legal process.
Devin, that's right. And Marino is now confirming what we first reported yesterday at 5, which is that he and Manoogian were involved at one point. Now, what he is saying at this point is that there is no story here. What she is saying is that his behavior has been abusive and threatening.
Marino remained mum yesterday after the speaker opted to pull his committee assignments, and Representative Manoogian came out accusing him of domestic abuse. Tonight, Marino has this to say. Quote, I had a relationship that ended well over a year ago with Representative Amara Manoogian. She served on a committee I chaired. I regret the fact that I went along with her request to not disclose the prior relationship to the speaker. However, I will be clear. The insinuations made are nothing more than politically motivated character assassination that I am confident will conclude as a waste of the public's time. The accusations against Marino sent Lansing abuzz yesterday after Manoogian sent out a statement that said she was taking steps to ensure her safety. Quote, the unfortunate reality is that many people in our society have experienced domestic abuse, which often comes from someone we would never expect. None of us are immune to a volatile relationship, regardless of our career.
Back here live, to be clear, sources in Lansing tell me that there is no allegation of a physical abuse here of any sort. Rather, these are text messages that the MSP is going to be looking at. We're live downtown tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
All right. Thank you, Mara. Also, right now, State Rep Jewel Jones is in the Livingston County Jail ahead of a hearing set for tomorrow on his DUI charges.
Meanwhile, 37 miles away in Lansing, the Speaker of the State House handed down new punishments for Jones, stripping him of his committee assignments. Sean Lay joining us now. And Sean, that decision comes about 24 hours after he was charged with sneaking that handcuff key into jail with him.
Absolutely. Let's get right to it. Devin and Sandra, good evening to you. Jewel Jones removed from his seat as vice chair of the Military Veterans and Homeland Security Committee, along with the Regulatory Reform Committee. House Speaker Jason Wentworth announcing the move, saying in part, take a look, the behavior hit a new low yesterday when he appears to have made a bizarre attempt to escape from jail. We asked voters in his hometown of Inkster what they think tonight.
Hello. I'm Jewel Jones.
When Jewel Jones was just 20 years old, he became the youngest person to be elected to Inkster City Council. In 2016, he became the youngest state representative in Michigan history. When he was appointed to his seat, then won his election with 66% of the vote. But as voters have watched Jones in real time make decisions where he's put his life, career, and freedom in jeopardy.
Smart guy, you know. Just not making the best decisions right now.
Inkster's Courtney Owens, he's had his public political issues in the past. He thinks Jones should step down, but can recover.
People, really like him, and it's just, the voters don't easily or soon forget. So I think in order for him to, really be successful as he can be, he kind of needs to really focus on himself.
Today, Jewel Jones was stripped of his committee seats in Lansing after Jones had a handcuff key taped to his foot in jail this week, right after a judge locked him up for his third parole violation. While the judge was sending Jones to jail, Jones chose to wear dress socks in court with glasses of alcohol stitched on them.
I don't think that he's taking it serious, we're having a discussion on Facebook last night, and you've got the, oh, it's this and it's that, and it's not a black thing or it's a white thing. Right now, it's a Jewel thing.
Back here live, as far as Jewel Jones possibly losing his seat in Lansing at the State House, Michigan Democrats leadership say there's no chance of that. They're standing firmly behind Jewel Jones tonight. In fact, House Democratic leader Donna Lazinski, she wrote today, our priority is providing him with the support he needs to meet those challenges and stay healthy. We are focused on ensuring Representative Jones has a fair pathway to accountability so we can move forward together. Jones is in court tomorrow on his DUI case and resisting arrest case in Howell tomorrow. Devin, Sandra?
Sean, I'm fascinated by this key that he was accused of having in jail. You can buy them online. They're all over the place. But I'm curious, do they actually work on law enforcement handcuffs?
I'm right with you. Can you imagine bringing a key into jail?
Yeah.
What could you possibly do with it? But the Livingston County Sheriff says they can open that type of key that we showed you, and you're right, it can be bought online anywhere. They're legal, but not legal to bring into jail.
Sure.
They can open, the county sheriff says, any type of law enforcement handcuffs out there in a jail or in a police car, any type. They work, is according to the sheriff.
Boy, it's a stunner. All right, Sean. Well, tonight, Detroit Police Chief James White calling for the officer allegedly caught in the passenger seat of a stolen car to be suspended without pay.
DPD also saying the officer, who has yet to be named, resisted arrest during the traffic stop early Sunday morning, which was on Detroit's west side. Let's get out to Larry Spruill, who's live tonight with more on what the department is saying about all this. Larry?
Good evening, Sandra and Devin. Leaders within the department addressed the Board of Commissioners today about this incident and the officer who was arrested over the weekend. He has been on the force for about 2 years, and tonight he's in trouble. Thursday, leaders within the Detroit Police Department informed the Detroit Police Board of Commissioners about one of their own. Local 4 learned an off-duty officer was arrested over the weekend. Chief James White immediately suspended the officer, but is now recommending him to be suspended without pay. He's a patrolman and a part of the force for about 2 years and worked in the 2nd District. Detroit police say that officer was a passenger inside of a stolen car near the intersection of Fullerton and Washburn.
I had to be doing over 80 miles an hour. They flattened the tires, we heard the boom.
Alfred Widman is taking us step-by-step of the incident.
He had hit my car. This is starting to hit my wall. I mean, the off-duty police officer was in.
Detroit Police Assistant Chief David LaValle says when his officers approached the car, they found an individual in the backyard. This photo of the stolen car from the scene is going viral and viewed thousands of times. That man was the off-duty officer. That's when they handcuffed him.
Charged him with resisting and obstructing. Furthering the investigation, we did discover that vehicle that the off-duty officer fled from was a stolen vehicle in the state of Ohio. It's horribly disappointing. Wearing the badge of a Detroit police officer is an honor and a privilege, and it's not a right. It's really a slap in the face to the approximately 2,500 people that wear the badge today.
And so now the Detroit Police will turn over its case to the prosecutor's office. They are hoping that she will officially charge that officer. We are live at DPD tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
All right. Thank you, Larry.
People in Flat Rock who want more answers about the gas leak there can talk to leaders from Ford, the state, and the city tonight. An open house is underway right now at Flat Rock Community High School, and a town hall will get underway at 6, so a little less than an hour from now. Ford has taken responsibility for the leak. It's impacted 1,100 homes. Officials say screenings do show the gas has been cleared from the sewers, but they believe it could be weeks before people in the evacuation zones are allowed home.
Also tonight, DTE shutting down a gas main near the site of the ground shift and partial building collapse in southwest Detroit. DTE says it wants to avoid a potential public safety issue with the gas pipe on Dearborn Street. Service will be out to 6 businesses in the area while DTE installs a temporary bypass. That will impact the Great Lakes Water Authority plant on Jefferson. The city also says to expect more odors coming from the plant in the meantime. And investigators continue to look into exactly what caused the ground to move in the first place.
Sun is shining on this Thursday. Milder temperatures have come in. Looks like a great night ahead, huh?
Beautiful day today. Let's get over to Andrew. And Andrew, we're hoping to keep the streak going.
And it will keep going into tomorrow, but we'll talk about how warm it gets for tomorrow, whether it feels like summer again in just a few minutes. It feels great out there right now. Mid-September temperatures right about where they normally are this time of year, in the middle 70s at the moment. 75 to 77 from Pontiac over into Mount Clemens, where it's 76. Look how warm Port Huron is. 79 degrees. Way to go. And take a look at this. Beautiful blue skies overhead. Folks still out there boating, of course. Just remember, life jackets for everybody. But waves are pretty calm. Onshore, we're looking at temperatures at 77 degrees over at Metro Airport. A nice wind out of the south, too, at around 11 miles per hour. Sure, it cools off this evening, but you don't need a jacket. We're right at room temperature at 8 o'clock. Then temperatures fall into the mild 60s by 10 p.m. and afterward. And whether you're an astronomy buff or not, shortly after sunset at 7:41, check out Venus in the western sky. Should be a great activity for you and the family. We'll talk about how much cooler it gets tonight and that warmer weather on the way for tomorrow and this weekend coming up.
All right, Andrew. President Biden zeroing in on the economy today amid new signs of trouble for American workers and consumers. Unemployment claims ticked up last week to 332,000 after hitting a pandemic low. At the same time, prices are still soaring, especially food, with pandemic disruptions squeezing the supply chains and adding to a shortage of truck drivers delivering to grocery stores and to restaurants. The president hopes to even the playing field by raising taxes on corporations. A lot of Republicans are opposed to that.
Ordinary, hardworking Americans, the people who built this country, have been basically cut out of the deal.
I've never seen such an effort to expand the reach of the federal government.
As part of his planned tax reforms, President Biden wants to give the IRS new tools to crack down on loopholes that he says allow the wealthiest Americans to evade paying their fair share or avoid paying their fair share. No one is hurt after a fire at Bloomfield Hills Middle School.
Video from Sky 4 here shows firefighters working to try to get that fire contained. This was on the north side of the building. A classroom and part of the roof sustained damage there. School officials say staff and students were not in the building at the time because of an off day. Investigators are working to try to determine exactly what started the fire.
A man on a motorcycle killed in Dearborn Heights, and police say the driver just took off.
Coming up new tonight, what police are saying about a piece of evidence left behind there at the scene that could help them find that driver. Doc?
The risk from COVID continues, but there are lots of other illnesses making people sick too. I'm Dr. Frank McGeorge. Ahead, I'll show you what's going around near you, from the respiratory virus hitting hard young kids to the summer ailment that's still causing problems in adults.
We are on the on-ramp to the electric truck.
And early customer demand has exceeded our expectations.
Ford Motor Company today with some surprise announcements that includes new jobs. We'll have details.